Hello, listeners from close and far. My name is Scotty, and I'm one of your hosts of the Diving Deep podcast, and I'm here with Jon. Jon, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good today. How are you doing, Scotty?
Doing all right. You know, it's a bit of a rough week. First week back at school after a pretty good break. It was rough, but here we are now, the weekend once more. Yesterday was WandaVision Friday, but today we are here to talk about Godzilla 2014. Jon, what did you think about this movie?
As you know, I'm a humongous fan of Bryan Cranston, and anything that he does is a masterpiece. Therefore, this movie was a masterpiece because he was in it. He might have died, but he was in it.
I think he should have been the main character of the movie.
Yeah.
I will stand by that. I think Aaron Taylor Johnson did do a very good job. And I don't know why they thought it would be fun to kill Bryan Cranston like half an hour in, but...
Yeah, that was...
Yeah. He should... But I do understand if they were going from that story perspective, like the military and stuff, you can't have Bryan Cranston doing that. You can't have Bryan Cranston hanging out of an airport monorail, lunging to grab a child.
Yeah, you can't really have him do any of those things. But, like, him losing his wife and, like, trying to, like, figure out, make sense of what's going on, I think that could have easily had been, like, I don't know, its own
the
thing.
Main plot, yeah.
Yeah.
He definitely was the most interesting character. And it was quite a shame to see him killed off so early. But I guess it is what it is. So what did you think of the movie outside of the Bryan Cranston stuff?
I mean, I think there's, like, a lot of, like, shots in that, like, if you look at them, you're like, that is from Godzilla. Like, the flare gun scene, them Halo jumping down into the city. I don't know, I feel like it's like a cinematic kind of... I don't know, it's very cinema. Yeah, it's great.
I think we definitely did not get enough Godzilla.
Yeah.
I think, and for a movie titled Godzilla, he was probably only in it for like 15% of the movie. We definitely, I think, needed a little bit more of that. And even though a lot of the stuff he was in, it was super dark and you could barely even tell what was going on. The action needed a little work, but what I was able to make out was pretty great.
Was indeed.
How many times have you seen this movie?
I'd say around probably 6 or 7. I've seen it a fair amount of times, yeah.
This is my second time watching. I watched it for the first time like this time last month. So it felt a little... It was a little bit of a rougher watch. Not because I didn't like it, but because it's something I had just watched.
Yeah.
Now, there's one part of the movie that, to me, was so messed up and weird, and I hated it. And I think you might be able to put together what I'm talking about.
I think so, but
the
possibly...
fact that Aaron Taylor Johnson and Elizabeth Olsen were married, where we know them as Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, who are siblings.
Yeah.
What makes it even more messed up is they were hired as Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch because Joss Whedon visited the set of Godzilla when they were working together, and all their scenes together are them being in love and all that, and he cast them because of that. Another reason
hurts.
Joss Whedon is terrible. I'm sure you're aware of the stuff with him.
Yeah.
With Ray Fisher and Justice League reshoots. And then the cast, he directed a lot of episodes of Buffy, and now a lot of the cast of Buffy is coming out and talking about how terrible he was on set. It's... Yeah.
That's kind of gross. That's gross, man.
Yeah. They were perfect casting. Well, Evan Peters is more perfect casting for Quicksilver, but Elizababeth Olsen at least was perfect casting for Scarlet Witch. So I'm obviously very thankful that we got her, but the way we got to her...
It's not something you want to talk about.
Not something I want to talk about very often. Yeah, that's very messed up. And it definitely takes away my enjoyment of the movie a little bit just because of those pre-existing circumstances.
I
won't let it take
out
away
of my
too
mind.
much.
You know, I hit myself in the head a couple of times and say that's not Quicksilver and that's not a Scarlet Witch, and then I just let it happen, and then after I knock it back in, and then I'm good, you know.
Well, speaking of them, what did you think of WandaVision yesterday? Spoiler alert, by the way.
Great.
I would have to agree. What an amazing episode.
Like, it was a throwback to, like, everything, and then like you could tell where the trailers came from. Like the beeping toaster was the bomb, as many people, I think, already.
Yeah, and then
out.
the watch was the Strucker watch. Baron von Strucker was the Hydra guy. Seeing all of that finally in the show and not just through the commercials was so good. And Agatha as well was brilliant. I think Catherine Hahn did a very good job. And I think this episode sold me. A lot of people have been saying, and some insiders I think are suggesting this as well, that Marvel is trying to push Elizabeth Olsen for an Emmy. And I'm so down for that. I think they should try. I think they should do it.
Oh yeah.
This episode was emotional, enjoyable. It went by so quick, and all of it was just perfect. Like the scene where she creates the hex, magical.
It was definitely intense, and especially the post-credit scene. I think that's where
White
Ultron's
Vision.
voice is going to come in. But I don't know.
You think that's going to be Ultron?
Or it's not going to be like Ultron, but it's going to have
Like
his
James
voice.
Spader?
Yeah, I think that it might be. Because like
I
think
never
about how
thought of that.
trippy that would be. Because like I feel like that's supposed to counteract Wanda somehow.
Now, are you aware of White Vision in the comics?
No.
Okay, because I'm not going to say anything, but in the comics, there's some stuff between the White Vision and Scarlet Witch that is very emotional, and I think that's the road they're going to go down in the finale. So I'm really looking forward to what they do in the finale of this episode or this series.
That's scary.
But my one complaint about the episode, it's not really even a complaint, is that we did not get any resolution to the post-credit scene from last week.
Oh yeah.
We got nothing from anyone. The one thing I was really looking forward to this week was the stuff with Monica and Quicksilver, and we got none of that. But I think that makes me even hopeful for next week that we're going to get a lot of that. And I still believe that this is Peter Maximoff from the X-Men movies, and we're going to see Vision unleash the real him, and we're going to get another Sweet Dreams moment as he evacuates Westview.
Oh yeah. Now, when like that scene where we got to see her create the Westview that we see in the show, what's it called? When she creates Vision.
Yeah, she didn't steal his body. Hayward was lying.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's messed up.
Now, what do you think that is? Like, do you think she almost took another Vision from the multiverse? Or do you think this is, like, completely fake in just her own imagination, almost?
I don't know, but seeing how he was, like, I don't know, it kind of looked like he was, like, almost taken from a place. Like, it kind of looked like teleportation from Star Trek in a way, so, I don't know.
And I'm also very excited to see, because of that, or no, ignore that. The best scene from this episode, in my opinion, was the scene that takes place in between Age of Ultron and Civil War. And Vision's like trying to become human almost. And his one line, "What is grief if not love persevering?" Round of applause. I think this episode, and this show as a whole, is going to go down, in my opinion at least, as the best thing that Marvel Studios has ever made. I think, to me, I'm very confident saying that because it's not just your explosion Marvel movie. This is a character drama, but what the most powerful person on Earth does, or how they cope with trauma that has lasted their whole life, and it's just perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And I just can't wait for the finale.
We need more Jimmy Woo in the
I know.
finale.
I was just gonna say that. No Jimmy Woo this episode either. So disappointing.
Really, and it was.
He carries the show on his back. But anyways, let's go back to Godzilla.
Mm-hmm. What were they called? The alien things, Mount or something like that. Like,
I actually have no clue. I'm being honest. I was editing my other podcast while this was on, so I kind of was not paying attention.
mm-hmm.
Let's look this up. I need to do this. Looking up. Godzilla 2014. Muto.
Oh, Muto.
Massive, unidentified terrestrial organism.
My God. I mean,
It's pretty cool.
like, I loved how they looked in the dark and stuff like that. But I was hoping for, like, I don't know. When the movie came out, I was hoping for, like, a very old, original Godzilla villain or something like that. But then we got these ones, and that...
Oh,
was
are these
also
new to this movie? Like, this franchise?
I don't believe so, but they're not, like...
Popular?
I feel like they're not one of... Yeah, they're not one of the popular ones. But that's where King of Monsters comes in and just...
Did you see this in the theaters? Have you seen this movie, like, since day one?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I think the first hour is really good. I really like the first hour and everything that happens there. And I think the movie starts to lose me when the military gets involved and when he's, like, on the train and he has to go, like, under the bridge. I was barely even paying attention, but that's where the movie loses me, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely goes from, like, being... I don't know the exact genre of movies. Like something kind of like a... What's it called? You know the movie... Not Signs. Actually, it kind of is like a Signs where, like, you don't really know what's going on and there's not a lot of...
explanation.
Yeah, and, like, not a lot of action as well. And then it goes from that to... now it's a war
it just goes to
kind of
full-on
movie.
action movie, really.
Which I like both, but I don't know. It takes you out of that other side. So when they try and bring it back in the end, it's
there's definitely like a mystery going on in the first half of the movie that kind of just disappears, but they don't even give you any answers. They just start prioritizing like the action immediately, and to me, like the action is cool, but it was action without substance. If you know what I'm saying, like it was just kind of blind, pointless action. So to me, that's where the movie starts to lose me. But it's definitely not bad, the second half. It's such like a disjointed start to finish. Like the first... it can almost be like a mini-series where the first hour makes up 2 episodes and then the last hour makes up 2 episodes or so. I think that could have worked better, but I'm not asking for a Godzilla TV show, but yeah. I think the movie was almost paced like a TV show instead of a movie.
Yeah. Do you think we'll see baby Godzilla later down the road?
I hope not. We've had enough of the babies. Baby Yoda. Baby Mr. Peanut. Baby Sonic.
There's a
In
baby
the Sonic
movie,
yeah. I don't know. I watched it recently.
Okay.
I'll just say not a fan.
Did Godzilla, like, his face looks very strange to me. I don't know why. I feel like it's too short. So when he bites something, it doesn't seem like it actually would do anything, but then it does.
I also believe it is a crime that Aaron Taylor Johnson did not come back in King of the Monsters. So King of the Monsters, I'm going to say right now, I didn't like it the first time I watched it at all. I think there's a lot of cool monster stuff, but it also focuses a lot on the family stuff, and it's just not nearly as compelling as the family stuff in this. Because in King of the Monsters, it's like a divorced family. It's like, be with me or be with your mom, like whatever. But this is about a husband trying to get back to his wife and son who are in the middle of like an evacuated city, and I think that works much better for this type of movie, which is another reason why I prefer this one to the sequel. So.
Yeah, definitely. The sequel, well, has the popular characters, or it like adds them in. It takes away from the overall human story of it, and it kind of loses you. Like
because when we go to watch these movies, we watch it for the Godzilla stuff. And while this movie doesn't have a lot of Godzilla stuff, I think it can make up for it with its story. But King of the Monsters cannot make up for it with its story. I think the story is super weak, and the action is good, but there's not a ton else going for it. But thank God they came out and said that Godzilla vs. Kong will not have a ton of focus on the human side of things, and will really be prioritizing the action. Yes. Because in a movie like Godzilla vs. Kong, when you don't have a ton of action, you're gonna lose your audience very quickly because people are coming to see that. I think they learned their lesson from King of the Monsters, and they're really just gonna try and go all out.
Yeah, hopefully, because I mean, I really want to see Monkey hit Lizard. In layman's terms.
No, that's in truest terms. That's all the movie's going to be, Monkey hitting Lizard. And I'm not complaining at all. That's...
My friend... what's his name? I won't say his name. He thinks Godzilla's going to win because he thinks Godzilla is, fire-breathing monkey. I mean, lizard. And he'll just shoot Kong from, a certain amount of distance away. And I was like...
Kong's axe can block the nuclear blast. Godzilla is going down.
Oh, yeah.
And also, Kong has not been called King Kong in this series at all. Godzilla is titled the King of the Monsters. So, it only makes sense that Kong wins and he's declared King Kong at the end. It only makes sense. Right?
You're right, yeah.
He is not King Kong yet, he is just Kong. And Godzilla is the King of the Monsters. So, I really want Kong to win, so they can declare him King Kong at the end.
Mm-hmm. Do you think they'll, have a... maybe there's going to be some Mecha Godzilla thing, and they're going to both fight that, and then coexist together and be both kings?
Actually, I was thinking about that for a while, but another executive producer for the movie said there is a definitive winner. So I think they will team up to fight Mechagodzilla, but then I think they're going to fight each other after that. So they're working together because they have to, but they still hate each other, and they're still going to try and duke it out, and Kong will win.
Yes. I mean, that's going to be awesome.
So, another weird thing with this movie, it's not bad, but weird. I think it should have been 5 minutes longer. The ending is so abrupt and weird. And I just didn't see it coming because I remember watching it for the first time, and it's just him roaring and that's it. We don't get any of the fallout. Nothing. It's just he goes "Ah!" and that's the end of the movie. I think a little bit more should have happened. We should have seen a little more of Aaron Taylor Johnson. I keep forgetting the characters' names. I think his name was Ford.
Oh yeah,
he's Ford. Elizabeth Olsen is Elle.
Yeah.
The son is Sam.
I don't remember the son's name.
What was Bryan Cranston's name? Was that I was gonna say Henry because Henry Ford, but that's definitely not it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say is it Ryan? Joe. Okay.
Oh, it's Joe.
That's a bit of an underwhelming answer. And then Ken Watanabe is Dr. Serizawa. He was good. I liked him in this. Ken Watanabe, he did a good job of making Godzilla feel sympathetic to us. Because I think if you take his character out, Godzilla is just going to be seen as a monster with who we have no reason to sympathize with or anything like that. So his character, I think he did a good job of making his character want us to like Godzilla.
Yeah. Is Godzilla a hero?
Yes.
Is he?
I think Godzilla. Well, he's there to bring balance, as Dr. Serizawa says. I believe Godzilla is there to bring balance, and I think Kong is also there to bring balance. It depends on the circumstances of what makes them need to invoke their powers. Oh yeah. Did you know? So the mom, Ford's mom, Joe's wife, Quentin Tarantino said that her death was the first time he ever cried watching a blockbuster.
What?
I find that
That's
so
insane.
funny because I don't think that death is emotional at all. We're just introduced to this character and she dies 5 minutes later, but it can get someone like Quentin Tarantino to cry. That's kind of amusing in my opinion.
Yeah, it was. I don't know why, but her death felt.
It was
pretty
rushed.
I don't know.
I think, again, this movie should have been a little longer. 5 minutes go to the end. But I also think another 5, maybe 10 minutes should have gone to the beginning before we jump to the present day. And back in 1999. I think we should have spent a little more time with Bryan Cranston and his wife, just so we understand their characters more, so her death and eventually his death is more impactful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Bryan Cranston can make people cry, like in the show Breaking Bad. Just the amount of emotion he can admit in scenes is off the charts.
I know you're a huge fan of him. I haven't seen him in a ton of things. I'm going to look through what I have seen him in right now. Okay. What I've seen Bryan Cranston in. Godzilla. Then he appears in archive footage of King of the Monsters. He's in Kung Fu Panda 3. He's in Madagascar 3. And he's in The One and Only Ivan. And those are the movies that I've seen.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, who was he in Kung Fu Panda? Let's check this out.
Oh, yeah. Because I don't... My God.
He was Poe's dad. That's legendary.
That is legendary.
Let me look it up. I'm pretty sure that was dad's name. I haven't seen that movie since it came out nearly 5 years ago.
Wait, like Poe's dad, like the goose guy?
The panda.
Or like Poe's...
Like the...
Oh, Panda.
Yeah. That was Bryan Cranston. That's pretty cool. I did not know he was in that, and that's amusing.
Yeah. He's Jack Black's dad.
Jack Black's dad, whoever would have thought. And who is he in Madagascar?
Probably,
No one of relevance. Good to know.
Exactly.
Okay. Back to the movie.
Dang it.
What we were talking about should have been a little longer. It could add some more development to make the movie more impactful. Because I think as a whole, I know, again, I don't think it's bad. I think this movie's around a 7 out of 10. Not bad at all. But I think it's kind of forgettable. Because even though King of the Monsters is a far worse movie, I think it's more memorable because the action sequences are so much better. Simple as that. Because, this movie's very dark. You can't really tell what's going on a lot of the time. And I think that kind of loses you a little bit and makes the movie a little more forgettable.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
So, this movie stars two superheroes who are Marvel. But going to DC, the new Superman show premiered last week. And it was
I heard about that.
so good. Like, the whole internet is praising it. This thing is perfect. Like, everyone likes to meme about the CW shows, but this is completely different from anything they've ever done, and is so much better than anything they've ever done.
Better than Arrow?
I think it'll go down as better than Arrow. I actually have mixed thoughts on Arrow. I like seasons 1, 2, and 5, but I'm not huge on any of the rest of them. Well, season 8 was pretty good, and 3 isn't bad, but I really don't like 4. I hate it. 7 and 8 are just kind of meh, or 6 and 7 are just kind of meh, and the rest of them are range from decent to pretty good. But yeah, I have mixed thoughts on Arrow.
4.
But this show, I'm telling you, it's gonna be so good. If even the rest of the season has half the quality of the first episode, it'll probably be my favorite DC show.
Whoa.
Just the first 5 minutes are simply perfection. Oh, did my camera glitch out?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
But no, this show is so good, and I recommend you check it out. The first episode is free on the CW app, on like smart TVs and your phone. It's so good, and it's like 90 minutes long. Or it took up a 90-minute time slot, so it's like 70 minutes. But yeah, I thoroughly recommend you check it out, and anybody else who's listening to this episode who is slightly interested in the character of Superman or Lois Lane or any characters from that world at all.
Beautiful.
So next week, we're going to be talking about Kong Skull Islanders, and my favorite movie in the MonsterVerse. But let's go back to Godzilla. Oh, this is what I want to talk about. The opening credits were really cool. I like how it...
Oh, like the old film?
Yeah, like it was filmed... It looked like that was filmed on, like, old reel. And how it tells the story of how the humans first interacted with Godzilla. without like giving away the entire mystery, which is never actually done throughout the movie. But I really, really like the beginning.
This might upset people, but I have something that, is an uncommon opinion. I watched the original Japanese Gojira movie.
The 50s one?
Yeah, the one that... And let me tell you, alright, Gojira was meant to symbolize the atomic bombs
I did know this.
Yeah, and I bought like the one with the Japanese one and the American version of the Japanese one. And let me just say how badly the Americans messed up the movie.
Sure.
So the movie was supposed to be a tragedy of, just this monster ruining everything, and then finally this scientist using this bomb and going down to the depths of the sea and blowing them up. But the American version had this American guy just inserted himself into a bunch of scenes, and instead of running away with the mass crowd, was standing there like a proud American. And oh my God, does it hurt?
That sounds so terrible. I really never want to watch that. I think the Japanese version sounds far superior because it doesn't have some arrogant American trying to brainwash the people of his country watching the movie.
Yeah, it was. I think that was the reason it was made. They got the rights somehow, and then just inserted him in.
That's terrible.
There was no story with him either. He was just there, witnessing it. I guess they must have filmed one or two scenes.
Is this the 1954 version that you're talking about?
I think so. It's still in black and white. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, if I go on the Wikipedia for that, there's a whole section for the American version.
It hurts me.
It trimmed the original down to 80 minutes and featured new footage with Canadian actor Raymond Burr interacting with body doubles mixed with Honda's footage to make it seem like he was part of the Japanese production. Many of the film's political themes were trimmed or removed completely, and it was this version of the original Godzilla film that introduced audiences worldwide to the character and the franchise, and the only version that critics and scholars had access to until 2004.
Yeah.
Jeez. Wow.
Yeah. It used to be a political message.
Yeah, he was a political message about the power of the bomb and Americans. And now he is just Big Lizard, who breathes fire.
Just Big Lizard. Yeah. I don't know. That part kind of turns me away from the new Godzilla. I like what Godzilla has become, but the original meaning had a way deeper meaning.
I never knew that, so thank you for enlightening me.
No problemo.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not surprised, considering how terrible the American film industry was for years, and how very problematic it was. But just hearing it is, whew. Yeah.
It's a lot.
So, do you have any other thoughts on the movie? I think we didn't go that off topic this week. We talked about WandaVision at the start, but it technically connects to the main star of the show being one of the main characters here. So, it's did pretty good this week. We talked about Superman for 2 minutes, but other than that, stayed on topic.
Oh wait, I did have one thing. Do you think Agatha Harkness is from our universe?
Yes, I do. I've actually never heard people talk about her being multiverse, but no, I don't think she is. I think she's from Massachusetts, Salem. That's where she grew up. Then I think she was a normal mortal human until she sucked the life out of all the witches trying to kill her, and that's why she hasn't aged since then. She's using their lives to live, to extend her life hundreds of years beyond her actual lifespan. And that's how she's still around. And she just sensed, like, her magic told her. I assume that magic book we saw at the end of episode 7 alerted her to the fact that a huge act of magic was just performed, which then brings her to Westview, and then here we are now.
I see. I don't know. I had this weird idea because I was, like, thinking about the Salem witch trials and how they were, none of it was real, but, like, what happens in a different universe, it was, like, actual witches.
Yeah, there's actually been a lot of stories of that. Did you know, I'm sure you do this know, but Harry Potter, the American Wizarding School is in Salem. Yeah. She has talked about this.
Oh, yeah. Wait, I did.
It's called Ilvermorny, and it was made in Salem in the 15 or 1400s. And therefore, the Salem witch trials. Which I think is actually a really good connection. I do not endorse J.K. Rowling, though. She bad, but Harry Potter good.
Yeah, Harry Potter good.
Yes, bad. But yeah, like, lots of stories have used that inspiration for, like, the start of magic and stuff. And it was actually interesting because she wasn't being put on trial by the people of Salem. It was her own witches, like the witches of her coven, and I thought that was really cool. It wasn't just the people of Salem taking her from her home and burning her at the stake. It was actual witches that she was practicing with who were the ones turning against her in the end.
So you think, did she actually take that dark magic and use it, or?
Well, like, we see her in the witch trials, then she's like the same age here in WandaVision. So it's not. I don't think she's time traveling. I think she, like, the dark magic that she used to take the life out of those witches is what is keeping her alive. It's kind of like a Horcrux, but not like doesn't make her immortal. It just squeezes out her lifespan so she can live to be however long. Because I don't think she was alive. If we're going by this, I'd say she looks maybe 5 to 10 years older in Westview than she does with the witch trials. So by that logic, she's been alive, like, since BC, and I don't think that would work. I don't think that makes sense. So I think what makes the most sense is that she was a normal human until she started practicing witchcraft, and then when she was put on trial, when she takes the lives of those other witches, she's using their life force to allow her to live and not age very rapidly. Almost like Nicholas Flamel in Harry Potter, to connect back to that once again.
Mm-hmm. I see. Also, in the Soul Stone, she saw the
Mind Stone.
The Mind Stone. She saw her.
But by that, what did Pietro see? A coffin?
Oh yeah, yep.
But
probably.
Maybe he probably just saw, like, speed, like a physical embodiment of it. Now, what makes me excited because of that scene, she has to get, like, a real Scarlet Witch suit next episode. Like a modernized version of what she wore in the Halloween episode, like a more high budget, like. Because if you look, that is her. They used a model of Elizabeth Olsen to make that Scarlet Witch that she saw. People have, like, enhanced on it, and if you look through the reflection in Wanda's eyes, you can see her face in it. Which, like, again raises the question, what did her brother see?
Yeah. Did Pedro just see death in his future?
No, maybe? Because, again, he is super speed man, so why would he take those bullets instead of moving those bullets? So what if he did see death and he knew he was going to die sometime soon? And, like, he saw his chance to save his life, like, for the greater good or whatever. Or to save someone else's lives, like, especially a child and an Avenger. And, yeah, and he knew he had to die. I think it would add a lot more depth to that character. Because, like, everyone loves to compare Aaron Taylor Johnson's Quicksilver to Evan Peters. And we all know Evan Peters is much better. But if we learned that about this Quicksilver, I think that would make him, like, a better character than what he is.
Yeah. And when Agatha was talking about Evan Peters, Quicksilver, she said, like, your brother, like, necromancy didn't work. So that's confirming that it is not that one.
Yes, so which again makes me think that because Wanda couldn't resurrect her real brother, she plucked one out from the multiverse. It ends up being the X-Men Quicksilver. Before he gets to the door, Agatha takes control of him. But that begs the question: what is he now? We know he's still under her control because he was at her house at the end of episode 7, and all he says is Snooper's gonna snoop. So I assume, beginning of next episode, he's gonna either fight Monica or Agatha will send him to fight Vision, and then Vision will free him and tell him what's going on, and this is X-Men Quicksilver.
Mm-hmm. Now, I also saw on a TikTok people talking about the rabbit.
I hate it. I'm sorry, but yeah. So the rabbit
they're talking about the
is
rabbit.
named Senor Scratchy, and Nicholas Scratch is the name of Agatha's son in the comics. And the original theory for a while was that Evan Peters was playing Nicholas Scratch, but the name that isn't true, because why would she name the rabbit after her son? So again, he's not Nicholas Scratch. He's not. He's a real human. He's not someone from Westview either. Because I think if he was a random person from Westview, we would have seen him in that scene where we saw Herb, Phil, Mrs. Hart, and the mailman. So that again, who is he? And I don't think he's going to be Nightmare or Mephisto or any villain, any real villain. And because we have a Doctor Strange movie about the multiverse and a Spider-Man movie about the multiverse coming up, there would be no excuse for this not to be the X-Men version of Quicksilver.
Yeah. Do you think the rabbit is Doctor Strange? Because that's what people were saying.
Oh, I hope not.
I don't know why they were saying it.
I really hope not. I do think he's going to appear, for sure, in the next episode. Because I think Benedict Cumberbatch was in Atlanta for a few days back in December of 2019 or early 2020, back when they were filming this. So if he was only there for a few days, it had to be a cameo for something like WandaVision. So I assume he has to appear at the end of or sometime in episode 9. But I think he's going to come to Westview because he's in New York, so it's not that far. But I don't think he's been there all the time. And I'll be pretty upset if he is the rabbit. I would hate that. I just think the rabbit is the rabbit, and it's supposed to just show us from the start that Agatha's been using magic because of how associated magicians and bunnies are.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's all I got. So I think that might be it. Well, I've been your host, Scotty, and this has been your other host, John. John, do you have anything to say?
No. I don't know. I don't think so.
You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at divingdeep_pod, and you can follow me on Twitter at Scotty0365, and you can follow John on Twitter at JohnBird35165518. I hope everybody listening has an excellent week, because we will be back next week to talk about Kong Skull Island. Adios.
Yeah. Adios.